First selection, we select from Timrå, Elias Pettersson.
When he first walked into an NHL locker room, he didn't look like the next great superstar. No one double took when he passed in the hallway. In fact, if you didn't know who he was, you might have assumed he was a junior reporter there to interview the players. He was pale, rail thin, and moved with a quiet, almost reserved confidence that didn't scream athlete. In a league where physical dominance often sets the tone, he seemed like the least likely candidate to change how we define greatness. And yet, that's exactly what Elias Pettersson has done, taking a path so unconventional, so doubted that his rise feels like one of hockey's greatest lessons in never judging a book by its cover. At the draft combine, scouts took one look at him and shook their heads. 6'2", but barely 160 pounds. Less than some players weighed in junior. His shoulders weren't broad, his frame wasn't intimidating, and his handshake didn't crush fingers like some prospects made sure to do. Some wondered if he'd even make it through the grind of a full NHL season without getting tossed around like a rag doll. They wanted explosiveness, a body built for battle. Elias brought neither, but here's what they didn't measure: the speed of his decisions, the calm in chaos, the way he could anticipate plays before they existed. While many prospects used their interviews to talk about working harder in the gym, Elias spoke in soft, measured tones about timing, about vision, about reading defenders' weight shifts. He wasn't trying to win anyone over with bravado, he was simply different. And in the NHL, different is a gamble. Most teams passed, one didn't. But what shaped this unusual approach? For that, we need to go back to a backyard in Sweden. Ånge, Sweden, is the kind of place where winter feels like a permanent season. The snow piles high in the streets, the sky turns gray for weeks, and kids bundle up in layers until they can barely move. It's not a hockey hotbed. There are no elite training facilities, no year-round skating rinks with cutting-edge tech. What Elias had was a frozen pond in the backyard, wooden boards patched together by his dad, and an older brother named Emil who served as both teammate and rival. His father worked as a Zamboni driver, and that job came with the occasional perk: extra ice time after the rink had closed. While other kids were playing video games, Elias was out on the ice late into the evening, skating in the dim light, shooting puck after puck until his legs felt like lead. He didn't have a private skills coach, so his education came from endless YouTube clips. He'd replay Pavel Datsyuk weaving through defenders, Forsberg scoring one-handed, Zetterberg threading no-look passes through impossible gaps. These weren't flashy tricks to him, they were study material. He analyzed the angle of the stick blade, the exact second a pass was released, the spacing between defenders. By the time he was a teenager, his hockey IQ was miles ahead of most kids his age, but his body hadn't caught up. He was smaller, skinnier, and often got knocked down in battles along the boards. Instead of getting frustrated, he learned how to avoid the hit entirely, move before contact, anticipate the defender's route, make the pass before they closed the gap. Slowly, the weakness of his size became the weapon of his brain. That brain and that patience would be on full display when he reached Sweden's top league. When Elias joined the Växjö Lakers in the SHL, no one expected a physical transformation. He still looked like he'd be outmuscled nightly. But then the puck dropped, and all those backyard lessons exploded onto the ice. In his rookie season, he put up 56 points in just 44 games. In a league full of grown men, many with NHL resumes, his shot release was deceptive, his passes snapped onto sticks like they were guided, and his ability to slow the game down made seasoned veterans look reactive. And then he broke the SHL rookie scoring record, a record once held by Peter Forsberg. In Sweden, Forsberg isn't just a hockey player, he's a national icon. To see a young, skinny kid erase his name from the record books was almost unthinkable. Swedish media lit up with headlines. Former players started showing up to games just to watch him. That season, he collected every major SHL award: Rookie of the Year, Forward of the Year, MVP, and the Stefan Leif Memorial Trophy for Playoff MVP. The first player ever to win it unanimously. Yet despite this dominance, NHL scouts still doubted, and that doubt led to one of the most surprising draft moments in recent Canucks history. The 2017 NHL draft was heavy on safe picks. Big bodies, steady defensemen, reliable two-way forwards. Analysts had their rankings, and Elias was nowhere near the top 5 on most lists. But when Vancouver's turn came at 5th overall, they called his name. The reaction was instant, and not all positive. Some fans groaned. Social media lit up with "who" and too small posts. Analysts said he was a project. In Sweden, his family gathered in a modest living room to watch the draft. When his name was announced, there was a pause. A moment where everyone realized what had just happened. His mother's eyes welled up. Emil hugged him like they were kids in the backyard again. It was a life-changing moment, and Elias treated it the same way he treated a good pass. With calm, with composure, with a quiet readiness for what came next. That next came fast, and he wasted no time showing why the Canucks had bet on him. From his first NHL shift, it was obvious Vancouver had something special. In his debut, he scored with a wrist shot so clean and so quick it almost felt routine. There was no wild celebration, just a small smile, as if to say, "I've done this before." But it wasn't just that goal. Over the weeks that followed, he piled up a highlight reel that would make seasoned stars jealous. Behind-the-back passes on the power play, dekes that sent defenders sprawling, laser-accurate wrist shots from impossible angles. By the end of the season, he'd scored 28 goals and added 38 assists in 71 games, breaking the Canucks' rookie scoring record. He was awarded the Calder Memorial Trophy as the NHL's top rookie, becoming just the second player in franchise history to do so. Fans who had doubted him were now wearing his jersey, kids were imitating his moves in street hockey games, and for the first time in years, Vancouver had a player who made the team feel dangerous again. But every rise comes with a challenge, and his would come sooner than anyone expected. His sophomore season started strong, but injuries began to chip away at his momentum. A headshot here, a nagging wrist injury there, each one just enough to slow him down. The 2020-21 season was shortened by COVID, and though he still produced, something felt off. Then came his first big contract, 3 years, $22 million and 5 cents. It was a sign of faith from the Canucks, but with that faith came expectation. He responded with 32 goals in 2021-22, then exploded in 2022-23 with 39 goals, 63 assists, and 102 points. The best of his career. That performance earned him an 8-year, $92.8 million extension, locking him in as the face of the franchise until 2032. But the 2023-24 season brought a dip: 34 goals, 55 assists for 89 points, and a string of nagging injuries. He still hit major milestones: 400th career point, 500th game, multiple hat tricks, even a 99.4 miles per hour slap shot at the team's skills competition. But the dominance felt less automatic, and then came 2024-2025, a season that tested him in ways no stat sheet could fully explain. In 2024-25, he hit the lowest numbers of his career, just 15 goals and 30 assists in 64 games. Trade rumors swirled. Whispers of a rift with teammate JT Miller made headlines, and while both players downplayed it, team president Jim Rutherford's comments suggested there was truth to the tension. Miller was dealt mid-season. The media pounced, questioning whether Pettersson could carry the team or whether his contract had become an anchor. Through it all, Elias stayed mostly silent. Then, in late March, he found a spark. 4 goals and 10 points in 8 games, a glimpse of the old magic, but an oblique injury shut him down before the season's end. Even so, advanced stats painted a better picture. He remained one of the league's top 5-on-5 playmakers since entering the NHL. It was proof that while the goals weren't flowing, the foundation of his game was as solid as ever. Which brings us to now, and a season he's calling his revenge tour. Speaking to reporters before training camp, Elias didn't hide his frustration. For me, it's revenge. I'm not happy with last season, but it wasn't about bitterness, it was motivation. He arrived looking sharper, stronger, and more determined. And the truth is, his greatest weapon has never been size or strength. It's the way he sees the game like it's happening in slow motion. He doesn't chase the play, he bends it to his rhythm. While others rush, he waits for the exact second to strike. His passes find seams that shouldn't exist. His shot, quick, deceptive, comes from angles goalies aren't ready for. It's a style built not on overpowering opponents, but outthinking them. In an era where speed and size dominate the scouting reports, Pettersson is proof that intelligence can be the deadliest skill of all. Beyond the rink, he's become one of Vancouver's most respected figures. Born in Sundsvall and raised in Ånge, he stayed connected to his roots, visiting youth programs in Sweden during the off-season. He's been the face of NHL video games in Sweden, and even in tough seasons, his jersey remains a top seller. In 2019, when 2 of his childhood friends were deported from Sweden, he spoke out publicly in their defense. Rare for a player so private. That same calm persistence showed when he was defrauded by a real estate agent. He he pursued justice quietly but effectively, with the culprit eventually jailed. He's not the loudest voice in the locker room, but teammates talk about his presence. A leader who doesn't need to shout to be heard. In a city as hockey-obsessed as Vancouver, that kind of steadiness matters. From a backyard in Onga to breaking SHL records, from a doubted draft pick to a franchise cornerstone, Elias Pettersson's journey is proof that greatness comes in many forms. He's been the kid too small to matter, the rookie who silenced a city, the star who battled through injury and doubt, and now the leader of a team looking for its next era of success. His story is a reminder that strength isn't always about muscle, and leadership isn't always about volume. Sometimes it's about control, about seeing the game and life a step ahead of everyone else. Never bet against the skinny.